There once was a neighborhood in a very friendly town. And in that neighborhood there was a little girl. Her name was Wren. Little Wren may have been little, but she was the most active resident of the whole neighborhood. She was a very busy bee. She helped everyone and knew lots of people. Let me introduce those people. First, there's Thomas.
Hi, I'm Thomas.
He is one of the little boys who lives in the neighborhood right beside Wren. He has blonde hair, blue eyes, and really enjoys playing in his sandbox. And sometimes long walks on the beach with Wren, but that's for another story. Thomas loves peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with a twist. Dun dun dun. You will find out shortly what his secret is. Thomas doesn't like to help out much and is often in a timeout for not completing his chores. Poor Thomas, he just wants to play all day long. Let's introduce Mr. Wilson.
Do we have to?
Yes, we have to. Mr. Wilson is Wren's neighbor. He's a grumpy old man. Mr. Wilson has no time for children or any person at all. He only has time for his 3 cats and his budgie. He is not very friendly or helpful. Now let's introduce Keith. Keith is a very hard-working farmer in a small community of these lovely peoples. He spends his days raising sheep and cows and harvesting silage, which nobody knows what that means, and growing crops. On the rare occasion that Keith gets a day off, he will spend his time with his beloved wife and his loyal canine companion. Everyone loves a dog named Maria. Everyone in the town loved Wren. One day, while she was playing in the yard, she found some wheat grains that had been left by her mother. Her mother was an excellent baker, but was away for a little while. But that again is another story for another time. Wren knew that the wheat she found could be planted and then made into delicious fresh bread. So Wren thought she would go to Thomas's house and see if he wanted to help her plant the wheat.
Thomas, I need someone to help me plant this wheat. Will you help me? No, I'm playing in my sandbox.
Wren was very disappointed, but thought she would go to Mr. Wilson's house. Mr. Wilson was a crotchety old man, and he enjoyed catcalling and making people feel uncomfortable. She walked over, and he was sitting on his porch.
Mr. Wilson, will you help me plant this wheat?
No, not I, responded the grumpy old Mr. Wilson. Wren was frustrated, but she did not give up. No. Wren was an optimistic little tyke. She walked all the way to the farm where Farmer Keith was working. Farmer Keith was a handsome devil.
Oh, Keith. Well, hi there. Will you help me plant this wheat?
It ain't gonna be me. I got too much work to do.
So little Wren went off all the way back to her house. And found a nice spot in the garden to plant the wheat. Wren waited and waited and waited and waited. Meanwhile, there was a message from one of our local citizens. Mr. Wilson, take it away.
You know, everyone thinks that I'm so grumpy, but the only thing that makes me happy is when I go to aerobics on Wednesday nights in Nanaimo at the local athletical club. There, I am able to socialize and do my favorite dentist.
Well, thank you very, very much, Mr. Wilson, but let's get back to the story. Soon, when the wheat had grown tall and golden yellow, Wren became excited to make bread from it. But first, she had to harvest it.
Who will help me cut this wheat?
She wondered. and Ren walked to Thomas's house.
Thomas, will you help me cut down this weed? Nope, not I. I'm still playing in my sandbox.
So Ren went to the old man.
Mr. Wilson, will you help me cut this weed?
Nope, not I, said the old man gruffly.
Ren walked all the way to Farmer Keith's house.
Keith. Yes? Will you help me cut down this weed? It ain't gonna be me. Then I guess I'll have to cut it down myself.
So she went back to her house and cut the wheat. After she cut the wheat, the little girl was tired, but she was a go-getter, and she knew that the wheat had to be taken to the mill to be ground into flour.
Who will help me mill this wheat?
Asked Ren.
Thomas? Nope, not I. Mr. Wilson?
Nope, not I.
What about you, Farmer Keith? It ain't gonna be me. Fine, then I will bring it to the mill myself.
Puffed Ren. Once the wheat had been ground into flour, Ren knew that it was time to bake the bread. She had already predicted what the answer would be, but thought she would ask anyway. She asked Thomas.
Thomas, do you want to help me bake the bread? Nope, not I. Mr. Wilson, do you want to help me bake the bread?
Nope, not I.
Keith? Yes? Will you help me bake a loaf of bread?
Ain't gonna be me.
Then I guess I'll have to bake the bread all by myself.
So she put the bread in the oven, and while the bread was baking, we have a breaking news story.
We interrupt this message to bring you a message from our sponsor, Glutino. Glutino has come up with a new gluten-free bread. I eat this bread every day with peanut butter and jelly. It's so delicious. Are you hungry yet?
Well, thank you, Glutino, and back to our show. Soon the bread became hot and soft, and the smell of delicious bread filled the air, and the smell of sweet and floated through the town. The boy, the old man, and the farmer all came running to Ren to smell the fresh bread.
Who would like to help me eat this bread?
Asked Ren. I will, said the old man. I will, said the farmer.
Ren, don't you know I'm celiac?
Oh.
Well, Mr. Wilson, did you help me plant the wheat?
No.
And Farmer Keith, did you help me harvest the wheat?
Well, no.
And Thomas, you definitely didn't help me bake the bread. No, I didn't. Then I will eat the bread all by myself.
And she did. The end.